ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much, and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Yeah, today, New Year, just me and Johnny on this one.
Translation, New Year, same bullshit, people.
Yeah, pretty much. Bill is out on his adventure. He would be coming late, so he wasn't able to come on and do political stuff. And Chris is still under the weather, under the covers and whatnot. But yeah, New Year, new problems. I guess that's the name of the first episode of the year, everybody. But it's kind of I'm gonna have to start doing it a little bit better to where for the description and title and everything, because on X we get like on Friday, our Friday show, we get like a lot of people watching our stuff and everything. So I think the algorithm on X works a little bit better in our favor.
Well, we're just doing what Daddy Elon asked, and post more positive and beautiful content.
No, last time, well, the one me and Bill put on, and it was the H-1B visa.
I was trying to pay us a compliment, but
I know
you do.
We don't do compliments around here. I get scared, and I don't know what to do with myself.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Okay, all right. Well, we'll just roll with that. Yeah. So, if 2025 is kicking off to a audacious start, it's let's see, we had what seemed to be simultaneous incidences going on across the country over the last couple of days. Somebody tried to drive a truck down Bourbon Street. The death toll, I think, is up to 15 now. The driver got out of the truck, tried to pick a fight with the police, and lost. We've got a former Green Beret and active duty soldier, Matthew Leibelsberger, emailing this unhinged suicide note with a manifesto attached to it to an Army intelligence guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to eat his pistol. And then seconds after his subscription to life was canceled, the Cybertruck that he rented blew up outside of the Trump International Plaza or International Tower there in Las Vegas. It wasn't so much of a V bed or it was more of a firebomb. If you look at, I'm looking at dailymail.com, and there's a ton of pictures assigned with I'm just making sure the light's on. There's a ton of pictures with that article, and one of them shows the back of the Cybertruck, and that truck's ugly as shit, but by God, it can take a beating.
Oh yeah. The only thing that blew up on that vehicle was the top part, and the top part is glass.
Yeah.
Or it's more or less like from what Elon Musk said, it's built to do that.
Yeah. So I'm before we start diving into this, the world's a scary place. The world's a bad place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad people that live in it. There's also a lot of really great people that live in it. And, there's, we don't need to make things worse for us than we already have, than we have to. So, if you're feeling some kind of a way, by all means, just ask somebody for some help. I mean, I'd rather have to be able to cut jokes at your expense while you're trying to, pour your heart out to me than to have to attend your funeral. And if you listen to our Nerd Sports show, we frequently reference the greatest viral gaming video of all time, where, I want to be that, that call that you make at 3 a.m. and I ignore you. I want to go to your funeral knowing that I could have avoided the outcome. I mean, we make jokes about that all the time, but that's just how we cope with things. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, we know that PTSD is not a joke, and we know that, the things that our war fighters experience, it creates a lot of trauma. I mean, we understand that fact is not lost on us. But with that being said, for those of us who have either come to terms with our ghosts, come to terms with our demons, or we're just everyday people just trying to make the best out of a crazy world and make our own little corner of the universe a little bit brighter. With that being said, we have to still approach everything with a defensive standpoint, especially the fathers in this world, the husbands in this world, the men of this world. Before you go on this misogynistic, rant, blah, 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 shut up. Okay. What we're trying to say is that, it's our job to be the protectors in this world. And so with the media trying to convince our kids that they're either cats who shit in boxes at home or they're a member of the opposite sex, our jobs are made twice as hard than they need to be. So when you step outside your front door and you take your family anywhere, even if it's just down the street to the mailbox or to the grocery store or, out of town, be situationally aware. Okay. We're not saying everybody needs to carry. Couldn't hurt. It'd be a nice deterrent. But just be aware of your surroundings. Always always look for exits, and, real men don't sit with their backs to the door. I mean, come on. But with that being said, I don't know. What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about New Orleans, or do you want to talk about Las Vegas?
I already got the Vegas stuff already up. A lot of people are. Here's the thing about both these situations. They are literally two different situations.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas one, a lot of people are saying, I was like, oh no, he was ISIS. And he was in Afghanistan. He was at the same duty station. They're even going with the second attempt on Trump's life, that assassin right there. They're going, oh, they were all. I mean, you're reaching and you're grabbing air on this. I hate to say it. You are grabbing air. Just because you're okay. Put it in perspective. 2 years ago, I went to hang out with VA buddies on Veterans Day, and I started talking to one of the vets. He was an Army vet. He did X-rays on airplane parts, mainly the C-130. Guess where he was stationed at? He was stationed at Dyess Air Force Base, the same base I was at. He was also stationed at Ali Al Salim the same time frame I went to Ali Al Salim. I had never seen this guy in my entire life until that moment. So you can be at the same base and go to the same places and go TDY in the same places. And I should have seen him when I was TDY at Ali Al Salim, only because the main place that you go to get food when you're in TDY is at the DCAF or DFAC. Yeah. Dining facility. I call it dining facility. They wanted a fucking
decaf is not too far from the truth, because I mean, well, you know, like decaf coffee is what coffee drinkers are supposed to drink when they're not drinking coffee. The DFAC doesn't necessarily serve up the best nutritional value. So
unless you're in the Air Force.
Look, steak and lobster tails have no business in theater, okay?
You're only that only triggers you only because of the basic fact that if you ever got that, you're like, damn, I'm going to war.
Well, usually the steak and eggs or steak and lobster or even ice cream usually precedes bad news.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely.
Usually serve it to you out of a hot egg, so you know.
Here's a strange thing, and then we'll get off of this off route that we're taking. When I was in Kuwait, every month we served steak and lobster, and that was only because the Kuwaiti government actually gave that to us. They gave us steak, lobster tails, and steak for us to cook up and everything as an appreciation for helping out their country. It was like every Friday.
At the end of the Gulf War, this is Desert Storm. Wasn't it the Kuwaiti government wanted to give like every service member that was there like X amount of dollars, but I guess the brass told them no.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you know how many problems that could have fixed.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll get into we'll pin a note. We'll pin a note in our private chat. Talk about Kuwait,
but
because it's an interesting subject of what happened.
But yeah, so Matthew Leibelsberger, he's a former Green Beret, active duty U.S. Army Ranger. He's forever going to be known as the Cybertruck bomber now.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, good job, guy. But he claims China is stalking the U.S. with advanced drones launched from submarines in an unhinged suicide email.
Actually,
now, this is coming from Daily Mail.
No. Okay. What we'll do here on that note, we won't look at the Daily Mail. We'll go ahead and just do the video.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just do the video then. Yeah.
And, this is from the Sean Ryan show that aired. Right now we're 8:00 p.m. Central Time. This came out 3 hours ago, so right around about 4 o'clock. And this was in the video. And thank you for Sean Ryan for having this guy on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us a little bit. Yeah. I mean, this is a lot of information that it's given to us because stuff happened, things were aligned, and trying to get the guy wanted to get his message across. And let's go ahead and do this. And you can't really see it. You can go on to SeanRowanShow.com. I think he has or one of his Instagrams or something that shows this.
Mexico border. I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operation Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID. Let me pause right.
Yeah, VBID is a
vehicle-borne improvised explosive device.
Yeah. I'm doing it for everybody else.
There for a second. So he says a massive VBID. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a VBID was. I had to explain what that acronym meant. Literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice and he goes, you said that word VBID. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of CivCAS, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent redacted of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with redacted IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But
I don't know what that pin drop is. But here's something that's even stranger, okay? And this I don't know if this has anything to do with it or whatever. But
hold on. USAP is the U.S. Antarctic Program. It's a network granted to participants who are familiar with the program's information security policies and instructions. The USAP's IT&C Engineering and Development Division provides support for software applications, including access management. That's just what I got just when I pulled it up just now. It's also U.S. Airport Professional Program. But yeah, mostly as far as the .gov is concerned, it's the United States Antarctic Program.
Okay. Here's a little bit of extra information. I don't know if it's actually I don't think it's actually useful. People are just reaching again. Like I said, they're just reaching up in the air. Tim Kinney knew this guy. He was on a reality show with him. It was the Green. It was like a Green Beret, Swedish Special Forces, and a mercenary group. We'll just call it mercenary group. Extra security officers. Well, that's the term. They're mercenaries. I mean, but you can use mercenaries as bodyguards or whatever. Everybody has a bad name for mercenaries. Basically, people from Blackwater. But he was on this TV show, and he was his partner for the show to do this competition and everything. It's just one of those extra things that people are going reaching. It's like, well, look what I have. Dude, you're literally showing a pile of shit, and I don't know why you're doing this. Throw it away and clean up your hands. Good job for finding it, I guess. Why are you reaching? But anyways, just all the data and everything. At one point in time, they're still going through the DNA test, so they don't know if the body in the vehicle is Matthew Litterberger. God,
Dude, that's yeah. I was just about to say, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, Leibelsberger, but because if you read some of the articles and some of the news that's been released about it, I mean, they're talking about he put the pistol in his mouth, pulled the trigger, and blew the left side of his head off. That's very specific.
Yeah.
And I mean, those, I mean, then the truck detonated a firebomb. It's sitting on top of a lithium ion battery. Okay. The fact that they put that fire out pretty quickly is kind of amazing.
No. Okay. Here's the fire stuff I have for that. They have for electric vehicles nowadays, they don't use water or anything because it causes more fire. What they do, it's like it's a fire tarp.
Mm-hmm.
And once it goes over it suffocates the fire and it goes out. It's what they have to use for electric vehicles because here lately they've been exploding on themselves.
Yeah. But you know, the idea that it may or may not have been him in the car. I don't know, man. They're gonna.
It's one of those things. It's a lot of reaching, and right now we don't have full information. We do. I mean, they're even reaching for the fact
if they're going to go to the trouble of faking his death, why release the manifesto?
Well, okay. The reason why, okay,
because you know how like whenever somebody, you know, when you catch somebody lying, it's because they're putting too much detail into something.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that would be this.
Or the whole reason why he wanted to put out a manifesto is because of the 2019 attack. I mean, all the other stuff he could be like, this is my theory and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you go back and you go for the basic fact of, hey, this is what I really want to talk about. This is just to get your attention. This is the clickbait. This is what I would really want your attention on. Because you're okay, it's like it when you're telling a story, you want to grab the audience about something. Because if you just talk, you know, my day was a very lovely day, and I walked to my car, got into my vehicle, and drove to work, and then I hit a bunny, and you missed hit the bunny, and that actually happened to me when I went to work one day. I could just
oh crap!
Dude. Camera.
Gonna happen at one point.
Yeah,
I knew that was gonna happen at one point.
but you want to grab the audience on something to where, you know,
I'm going to grab the audience's attention there.
Yeah. Good thing it wasn't any kind of weird stuff going on.
I'm the only one in here, so yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing, I mean, is the on-air lamp that everybody ignores.
It was a good idea.
Do it now.
I had an idea, and I persevered, and I sought through this idea, and it failed horribly, like most of my ideas.
It's not for lack of execution.
I know. But
mean-
there's another reach out here that he did all this because he found out that his son isn't his biological son. That came out too. I mean, people find a lot of stuff nowadays. If it's on the internet, it's on the internet for life. You can find it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's companies out there that you can pay that they'll bury the negative stories about you, but I don't know. I mean, once the damage is done, it's done.
Yeah.
So, at that point, you're just replacing body panels. I mean, but it's still going to show up on the Carfax report. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
And here's the thing about, and we'll go into the next part of this, is both of these both the vehicles it's either a new app or it's a new app to me. The Tua. It's basically you're renting a car. And
Oh
you're
yeah.
You're renting other people's vehicles.
So it's like Verbo for cars. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, both of these, I mean, I didn't know about it, and that's a weird way to get advertisement for that app. Because the next one did the same thing. He got onto rented a truck, set it up for explosion, and ran into New Orleans, Bourbon Street.
Which, by the way, is a pedestrian-only zone. I mean, it's always zoned that way. You never see anybody driving up and down Bourbon Street.
Yeah. So the only thing stopping this truck was a construction site. Now, mind you, I think let me find out. I should have pulled that up, but I didn't. I know 7 people died.
The casualty or the death toll is up to 15, I think.
It's up to 15.
Yeah, as of this afternoon, it was up to 15.
Okay. Yeah, I got, going off of different sources and everything, I got 1 day ago it's 14. Most of the sites 5 hours ago 14 people. But both Army veterans, and the thing that stopped this the truck was a crane that was in the on Bourbon Street. But yeah, and 16, okay, about 30 people were injured and 16 remain hospitalized. So I guess 16 of them are pretty much on care. Now, this attack, he did have an ISIS flag. That's why they thought that this might have been an ISIS thing. And here's the thing I don't get, okay? Every news outlet's going off and saying, oh, they were radicalized when they're in Afghanistan by ISIS. And I'm going, wait a minute.
ISIS wasn't in Afghanistan. That was the Taliban.
Yeah, exactly. And here's another note. Taliban hate ISIS.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, they attack each other. Even Trump was saying it's like they're going after each other. Why are we stopping it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they want to live in the 14th century, let them. I mean,
yeah. But from what I gathered from the information, that this guy might have, and the FBI are still investigating. So this is just information I have found spot on through the ether of the internet. Was an actual mosque in the northern Houston area, which FBI are investigating right now. And the
Yeah.
people of that mosque, I don't know what they call their religious leader.
Sheikhs.
Okay. The shade of that mosque is telling everybody in that mosque we're on a media blackout. No one's allowed to talk and everything, which it is suspect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the sheikhs and clerics, but yeah. So here's the problem. You know, we're not going to get on this like Islamophobic rant or anything, but you notice that anywhere, you know, they say Islam's the fastest growing religion, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, how much of that is willingness, right? You know, or how much of it is forced? Everywhere that Islam has waged war and have, they feel like they won, they've constructed a mosque. Like there's a mosque at Ground Zero now. Yeah.
That is
So,
that is weird.
Malcolm X would be, I really think that he'd be ashamed of the current state of the nation of Islam. You know, because at the end of the day, Malcolm X, he was a little bit more aggressive than say Martin Luther King Jr., but I don't think that he would condone, the actions that are being taken today. The problem, and this is the way that I see it, the problem with the radicalization, the militarization of young Muslim men, especially in that part of the world, is the illiteracy rate is through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, they're not taught how to read. And the only way that they learn about the Quran is by these sheikhs and clerics traveling to these remote villages and teaching the militarized or radicalized version of Islam.
Which, and I hate to pause you right there, which
You're okay.
the Catholic Church did the same thing. That's the reason why.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. As a I'm not a Catholic. I am a Christian.
Yeah.
Not especially the Church of England, the Roman Catholic Church. I mean, they've waged wars in the name of Jesus. I don't interpret that, as correct. It historically is correct, but I don't look at that as being the way, right?
Well, even the new interpretation of 10th commandment, do not blaspheme my name. A lot of people are saying now, I was like, we don't believe that he meant it that way. I think he do not go to war in my name.
These are the same people that look at Nostradamus's quatrains and say, oh, well, he was a prophet. He could predict the future. It's easy to sit there and interpret something after it's already happened. I mean, context is everything. And when people bend context or delete it entirely, you can make anything read the way that your mind already wants to read. If you've got your mind set that this is the way something needs to sound, it's just going to sound that way.
Okay.
It's the same thing with these climate change scientists, that are out there that are like, well, the oceans are going to rise. Blah. I mean, if you remember back in 2000, when Al Gore Jr. was still a thing, he was saying that by what was like 2012, that all the polar, that the ice caps were going to all melt and the oceans were going to be like 50 feet higher.
Yeah. And weird thing is a lot of these people that are believing in climate change have beachfront property.
Yeah. But here's the deal. You can make the science say whatever you want. Just ask Dr. Fauci. So, and I use the term doctor very loosely. So it's when people like big pharma or government get out of the way and we advance the human condition for the sake of advancing the human condition
Yeah.
as opposed to advancing our bottom line, um, we can joke all day long that if MTV had continued to play music videos, we would have flying cars by now. There's it's a completely tongue-in-cheek phrase, but there's truth behind it. We get lost in what the media has been force feeding us over the decades. And while we do have a very small, succinct section of society that is getting smarter because they're legitimately pursuing science and they're pursuing exploration, we're seeing idiocracy play out in front of us. And there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. And it's the saddest thing in the world. We're letting all the dumb fucks in this world breed while all the smart people are too busy learning, or they're thinking, there's no way I could consciously bring a child into this world. Please just go breed. Come on. Obi-Wan, you're our only hope type stuff here. So it's whether or not these drones are coming from China, whether or not the Biden crime syndicate family is getting ready to step down out of office and be pardoned so they can go party like rock stars without recourse. I love a conspiracy theory just as much as the next guy. But for the love of God, it's like arguing with a liberal or even arguing with a conservative. Do your research. Do your research and get your facts from more than one source. Don't be that guy that writes a paper with ChatGPT and then humanizes it on his own and then just tags a couple of things on the site's works cited page just to turn in. It's transparent and it's easily defeatable. But the fact that you guys are coming at us in sheer waves, it's like the Chinese horde or the Russian wave. Back, or the Soviet wave back, the armored wave or whatever. But yeah, sheer numbers are going to win the day, but come on. There's a reason why, alien civilizations, when they come through the Sol system, they lock the doors and roll up the fucking windows. It's because we're the hood of the galaxy. I mean, come on.
I believe this.
I mean, it's stupid. It's like, hey, mom and dad, can we go to Earth? No, we don't talk about Earth. We could be exploring the stars with alien technology already, but when aliens look at us, they're like, they're not ready. They're not ready for that yet. Tommy Lee Jones had it right in Men in Black. Human beings are dumb animals.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But okay, here's the thing on realization that we'll get back to the reality of what we're trying to get at. Realization of individuals is not hard. Even though I'm not going to do this is an announcement, I'm not doing psychos and sociopaths anymore. We've chunked that off of our thing. The views weren't there, blah blah blah. We just it got us a bump every once in a while, but I'd rather do this.
I think instead of doing like a weekly or a monthly, I think we should do like a quarterly episode.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that.
Like an special.
Yeah, I might just do like a onesie on that one because it. And what I'm getting at is doing stuff like this. It's real based to the point to where
it's almost real time.
I don't have to like think a lot of the times when I'm like doing the episode, I've gotten proficient. I've noticed I've gotten proficient when I'm talking and I'm doing I'm relaying a message or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah,
I've noticed I've gotten good until I get to a point where I have to change my words for YouTube. I have a big blank spot because I have to use SA. I have to use a grape. I have to use
Yeah,
technology. If you want.
when I mentioned the esteemed Dr. Blankety Blank, as soon as his name came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, we're gonna get flagged.
We're not gonna get flagged. It just because the one thing is if we the whole reason, and we're still getting off subject. The whole reason
Well,
of
it is what the hell.
monetization, the whole reason why I want to get monetized on YouTube isn't because the money. I don't care about that. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, it's nice, but you're looking at we would have to do 1 million views just to get like $500 a week.
yeah,
It's very small. But there's extra stuff that you can do on there. Like if we get a certain amount, we get monetized, we can actually put in, and if we're talking to people and everything, you can do a super chat. Like, hey, we're gonna tip you $5. Mention me. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. And that's only if you get monetized.
yeah.
And you can have like a bio thing underneath the video on YouTube when you're doing your live streams, or we're looking at it, and you have our merchandise that we're trying to sell and we're trying to push our stuff.
Yeah.
Now, but going back to the rouseization of people, it's super easily do it. It's, I mean, Jim Jones did it. He was magnetized by people, but he did a lot of that was the weirdest thing. If he did not start doing like drugs and alcohol and going to the dark side and everything, he was doing good work. I mean, if you take away all the big bag thing, but if he didn't like diddle the
If you take out the cult stuff
and everything,
and the Flavor Aid, cocktails. Yeah, I mean, the guy had a very radical view of Christianity.
And he was trying to bring together the races.
Well, yeah. So,
I mean, there was a little girl that was adopted by the family, and she got away from the whole thing. And she's like, I don't know what got into him at the end, but he treated me like family.
yeah. Well, every dark cloud's got a silver lining.
Yeah.
So, I don't believe that people are completely evil. I mean, and this is going to be wildly unpopular. But even the crazy mustache guy had his moments. I mean, he absolutely adored his nieces and nephews, adored them. He shielded them a lot from his politics. But, with your uncle being the leader of the country, there's not a lot you can do as far as like active shielding is concerned. But as far as Jim Jones is concerned, I mean, it's when he started to develop the God complex himself that things got wildly off track for him.
Yeah,
So,
it was the same thing with
with Koresh.
Yeah, Dave Koresh.
Yeah. So,
but one note, everybody, if you have German friends and they're trying to be an artist, tell them that painting's good.
yeah, tell them that painting is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talk about German. I saw this video about Rammstein, the German metal band. Rammstein. Dude, you got all these American artists that are like, you do not want to follow them. Like if you're playing after them, good luck.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Their setup, I think, takes 2 days just to set up all the things.
Well, I got a friend that lives there in Wichita, and he's a huge Rammstein fan. So it's like that. He just gets down with it, right? So, but and it's all in German. They don't sing anything in English. right? But it's just about the presentation and it's about the music itself, right? So I'm just like, boy, but apparently their shows are top notch.
Dude, YouTube that stuff. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So I mean,
So I want to go to one of their concerts.
I do too, but
Actually, I've been wanting to go to their concerts for the longest time. It's that in Skillet.
oh, dude, I've seen Skillet like 4 or 5 times live. I can't get enough of Skillet. John Cooper and his wife, dude, are amazing. Jen Ledger, their drummer, dude, just out of this world talented.
Yeah.
So fun
The
fact.
only other-
Right. So fun fact. Back in 2000, I was able to knock seeing Metallica live off my bucket list, right? Because I went down to Atlanta to go see them. They're going to be in Houston in June.
Yeah.
I bought tickets. I'm taking my oldest stepson so he can knock it off his bucket list. I'm gonna go see Metallica live in June.
All of my friends went to a Metallica concert. I never went.
You know, back
But
then it was just when they came out with their Load and Reload albums, and everybody was all giving them crap because you know it was hot off the heels of that Napster thing with Lars, and you know they're talking about selling out and this, that, and the other. And at this point now, they're just old rich guys that like to play music.
Yeah.
So, you know, but at the core of it, it's still, you know, it's Metallica and it's just part of the experience. And, you know, it's just one of those things where I'm looking forward to it just simply to the fact that I get to connect. You know, I get to build that core memory. You know, there's an Inside Out reference for you, but I get to build a core memory with my oldest stepkid. So it's, you know, it's going to be a fun time. It's, you know, we're sitting up in the nosebleeds, but honestly, I could care less. I'm 47 years old. I'm too old to be down in the snake pit, to be completely honest with you.
Do neck stretches.
Yeah.
I am never gonna headbang ever again. I did it once and I
used to do it
a
a lot, but I've got neck problems, right? And I've had 7 concussions. I am not about that life anymore, dude. I'm gonna be that old guy. I'm gonna be sitting back in my seat up in the nosebleeds. I'm just gonna be sitting there drinking my Crawford box.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, hey, I know this song. Yeah, okay. Oh no, I don't know this song. Oh, this song sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's just for me, it's just going to build that you know, that bond, you know, to have that bonding moment. But it's I think for me at least, and this ties back into the theme of the episode, so trust me, I'm trying to guide us back. I think that if everybody just simplified things, you quit worrying about trying to ram your point of view down people's throats. We get back to raising our kids properly, you know, teaching them the difference between right and wrong, and teaching them to be responsible for their actions. And we get back to the core of who we are as a society. I think that it'll be for the betterment of mankind as a whole. And, you know, the world's full of enough hate as it is. The world's full of enough paranoia, scheming, you know, conspiracy theories abound.
Yeah.
But, you know, with that, it's worry about what you can control. Control what you can control. And that, first and foremost, is yourself.
Mhm.
If you strive to make your corner of the universe just a little bit brighter, people are going to start joining in, and that light's going to keep growing. And I know that sounds, you know, squishy or whatever, but it's rooted in truth. And, you know, it just, as a society, we just need to have a great awakening again. So, but go ahead and say what you were going to say.
No, I was getting one. I was totally agreeing with you on that. But I wanted to add it into it is Figure out what you can change, and figure out what you're able to do in the situation that you're in. You can have a horrible day. Like there was a video going around that John Cena was watching a video of a woman that got her driveway taken away. Someone literally went in and
they
took
polished the wrong driveway. Yeah.
they paved the wrong driveway. And he was like, well, I got to figure out what I can change. Did they steal my car? No, I'm still able to go to work and everything. Will this be fixed in the end? Someone's going to repave the driveway because someone made a mistake. And if they don't, I would have to sue. I'll just have to get a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. But my being in my world at this moment, of course, I would take 5 minutes if it was me. I'm like, I would literally stand there for like 5-10 minutes just thinking, it's like, how the hell did they do it without me knowing about it?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's stealthy shit that I need to know about. That's technology that I have to find out because I may want to do it one day to somebody else.
Yeah. I used to have a friend that was an EOD, and I haven't talked to him in years, but I used to think I was pretty chilled and laid back. But this dude was catatonic. That's how chilled and laid back he was. And I was like, dude, how do you not let anything affect you? Right. I mean, like, you could walk in on your wife getting banged by the MPs, the whole company, and you just be like, it's cool, man. It's whatever. Right.
Probably watched a lot of Married with Children.
No, he put it to me like this, and it changed my entire outlook on life. He said, you know what I do for a living? I was like, yeah. He goes, if I have a bad day at work, I'm never going to know. And I was like, wow. It blew me away. I was like,
I mean, quite literally.
oh shit. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he might see the flash, but it's going to happen quick enough where his brain's not going to be able to register it before it turns into vapor.
Yeah. The only thing going through his mind other than the shrapnel is going to be, damn.
Yeah. Not even that. I mean, it's just,
he's not even going to be able to. Yeah. I mean, that's true.
So I mean, I was just like, he goes, now, with that being said, he goes, if you ever see me running, then you can run, then you worry, and I'm like, okay, point well taken.
That's the idea. What I like to do, one, doing the show and everything, putting everything in perspective. One, I have a hard time. I have a lot of cop buddies that we talk about this too, is we talk about our perspective on life and how we can't, comprehend other people's, bad days.
Yeah.
Like, your bad day, the only bad day I remember is you got T-boned one time.
Yeah.
And that was a bad day. And
I remember hearing my passenger side window shatter. And the next thing I know, I'm facing the opposite direction. And the airbag has deflated in front of me. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay, where's my phone? I just remember, take a deep breath. I assessed the situation. Like, yeah, I got all my fingers and toes. I'm hurt. I'm hurting bad. So, I mean, I reached down, grabbed my phone. First thing I did is called my parents, let them know, hey, I just had a car accident.
Yeah, me and your dad picked up your stuff. And
yeah, I called our boss that morning from the emergency room. He goes, how you doing? I was like, I'm not going to be able to come to work today. He starts laughing at me. He goes, don't worry about it. You'll get paid for today. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'll be at work tomorrow. He goes, don't stretch it. Just take today and tomorrow. And so I took that day and the next day. And I remember I came to work that third day, and he was like, just follow them in your car in case you like start to fall out, then you can go straight home. Because you remember the job site that day was like right around the corner from my house.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got about 3 hours on the job site.
That job was, Man, I hate to say this, but Nathan doesn't know his job. There's certain jobs that we should never have taken.
Yeah, I will agree with that. But, you know,
Because that job that was right around your house, when we were doing all the stuff and everything,
yeah.
we were pulling concrete. We had to re-concrete the whole area because it wasn't the back room.
hmm
It was the room that they made into they made it. They literally made it. That some person went in, poured concrete, and made this little section.
Yeah.
Dude, every time we were going in and just scraping the
Yeah. With the grinder, it didn't help that there was no rebar there. So,
yeah, and we were pulling up concrete. We're like, we're gonna have to repave this whole thing.
yeah.
And what's his name? Our other helper?
Rocket.
No, it
Or
wasn't Rocket.
Marshall.
Marshall.
Yeah, it was Marshall. Marshall, every once in a while, he'll still text me. So, I mean,
don't-
it's usually like a hey, have Merry Christmas, Happy New Year kind of deal. So,
Yeah, the guy that lives in the back of our head, his head, rent free. We live in his head rent free.
oh yeah.
He wished me a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh well, I mean, I blocked. So,
I didn't. I was like,
it's. Look, I don't want you to starve. I just don't want. It's not that I don't want you to eat. I just don't want you to eat at my table.
yeah,
You know, I'm a firm believer in the idea that if you don't breathe life into these concepts, you know, into these ideas, and you certainly don't verbalize them, you're not going to send them out into the universe where they can build momentum.
yeah,
So it's one of those. Yeah, you can think it all day long, but don't waste the time and energy that it takes to vocalize something.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I mean, I get asked all the time. It's like, you know, how do you let go of some of the crap that you've been through? And like, at the end of the day, is it going to do me any good to sit there and just piss and moan about it? No.
Well, it's sometimes it takes a while to get over it.
It to be fair, yeah, it does. But you know, I mean, once like with you know, with my divorce, right? Just trying to be semi-transparent here without putting too much information out, but it was at a certain point I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to get mad. I'm just not, because it's not worth my time. You know, because there's other things that I need to be expending my life energy on, you know, my life force. And for me, that was being the best father I could be, being the best friend I could be to you.
Yeah.
And when I met Mindy, it was, you know, being the best, you know, version of myself for her, and what eventually became our blended family that, you know, I could be. And that's what I focus on. And is it the most popular thing in the world sometimes? No, because I have to make those hard choices. I have to be that guy, you know, where I'm just like, look, you either do what you're going to be told, how you're told, and when you're told, or you're going to be grounded so fast your head's going to spin, kind of a situation.
Yeah. Well, it's
Well,
still,
it's like I took all the boys to the range the last Friday. Took them
Yeah.
all to the range. I was drill sergeant Johnny that day, and it wasn't like, you know, I'm sitting there berating these guys and, you know, breaking them down. I just like, look, we get out there, eye protection, hearing protection, what I say, how I say, and when I say. And if I catch you doing otherwise, you're going to go sit in the car. And
Yeah.
be advised, we're going to sit out here. We're going to be here for a couple of hours. And you know, it because for me out there, safety number one,
oh yeah.
100%.
I mean, even my daughter, she's like, the one time you yelled at me was at the range, and I look at it, you are absolutely right. It was really you,
Yeah.
but you handled it like professional.
And you want to know what though? And this goes for all 5 of my boys out here, but um, with as video game centric as those kids are, every single one of them enjoyed being out at the range. Now, Reagan, he didn't pull the trigger once, and that's just because it's really not his deal, right? I mean, he's Reagan, right? But the fact of it is that I wanted them all outside. I wanted them all engaged. I wanted them doing something that didn't involve video games. And overwhelmingly, that day was a rousing success. Even Sammy, and I know who I'm talking about, my skinny middle child, right?
Yeah.
I was like, "What'd you think? What's the verdict?" And he goes, "I actually had a lot of fun." I was like, "Good, because you're going to come back out again." He goes, "Good, I want to." And I was like, "Yeah." So it's.
I mean, okay, going on the fact though that you have to work on your relationships and everything. And I'm not saying it's like, oh, Johnny has to work on his relationships because it's just no. I mean, every day is a new day, and you end up doing something like. And yes, sometimes you can say something weird, and sometimes you just say something, especially with one of your friends that was in the military, and you don't think when you say it, and your wife freaks out because she thinks that you have more kids. That was hilarious. She wasn't worried about. I knew what you're talking about, but she was more worried. She's like, "You have more kids, really? I can barely stand." She was like, "I can barely. We don't need any more kids." I thought you were. That was her thing. That was the funny thing about the whole thing.
Yeah,
I knew you're going. You're like, Dave, just don't. It's like, no, but she's trying to figure it out, and she's having a hard time. I could help this. Dave, just shut up, okay?
Yeah, because I mean, I tell the kids all the time, there's no reason to throw each other under the bus, because each and every one of you possess the ability to hang yourself on your own.
Oh yeah.
Everybody possesses just enough rope, to throw it over the rafters and hang yourself out to dry. Your brothers don't need help, kind of a thing. And that goes for every single one of us. And like I constantly I constantly have to filter myself around the boys. I'm just like, there's times where I just want to be like, shut the fuck up, listen to what I'm saying. But no, I have to be all like, listen, look, now, just eyes up, eyes on me. Like I have to filter, I have to temper, and there's a reason for it. And it just, boy, yeah, it's part of the human condition, and I'm here for the chaos. I really am. I revel in the victories. I revel when I just absolutely adore it whenever I have good days.
No, yeah.
But I know that the bad days are there, and that doesn't prevent me from enjoying, the victories. It doesn't. It just makes me appreciate them that much more, because I know that, they don't happen all the time. As much as we'd like to say it, I think the measure of any good relationship, whether it be father and son, father and daughter, husband and wife, the good days have to outnumber the bad days.
Yeah. Which reminds me, guess what happened? I forgot to tell you this.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's on air, and I don't care what happens.
Say it.
Christmas Day, I went to my brother-in-law's house. And all the family was except for my stepmother.
Right.
It's understandable, because last year I didn't show up to any of the events last year, and I got bombarded of all the bullshit that happened. And that's the reason I was like, I told you, she doesn't need to be out in public.
Yeah.
But well, my sister ended up, my biological sister. I say my other sister, my other sister, who's my stepsister. But it's one of those things that she married my brother, and he's not biological brother. He's brother from high school.
Yeah.
And now we're all family. I liked him so much in high school. I had him marry somebody in my family. But anyways, what my sister decided it was like, "Hi, brother," and tries to give me a hug. It's like, what are you doing? It was that deer in the headlight look. Like I know you're a family man. You're like you like shrug stuff, and Kenny's the same way. They go out and you're like, all is it's forgiven to a certain extent. I'll give you a hug. Me, I cannot forgive her for all the bullshit she's put me through.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, it's Christmas. I was like, and it was the deer in the headlock. She was like,
Yeah. I mean, I get where you're going, but you want to know the thing. One of the things that gives me the most pleasure is just absolutely taking everybody off guard.
yes,
It's one of those, that I don't like you. That I wouldn't walk across the street and piss on you if you were on fire because I could be that many more steps down the road. Just because I don't like you and I disagree with the fact that you still have a subscription to life doesn't mean that I haven't forgiven you, right? And and it's one of those, forgiveness isn't necessarily for the other person, it's for me.
yeah.
And because
Oh, could you tell her that my dad loved the cookies?
yes, I did. Oh, I will. I told her what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she's smiled, and that made her feel good because she's like, I'm glad everybody loved them. She goes, they're not that hard to make. They're just time consuming because she's got to make the peanut halves and
Yeah.
yeah. But and then she found another recipe that she's going to try, and I'm like, dear God, woman, you're going to give me a freaking heart attack because this week or starting tomorrow, I think I'm going to go on liquids for the next 3 days before I go back to carnivore because, dude,
Yeah.
my weight has ballooned. So
When I saw you when you came down, I was like, oh man, and then I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh man, I should not say the goddamn fucking thing because
right. It's like, man, we're fat and happy.
Have you checked in the mirror lately? No, I'm sorry, Johnny. I apologize right now. I retract my statement.
Oh, that's fucking awesome,
for
dude.
doing that. Oh, dude, I was gonna rag on you so bad that
You'll humble yourself before the Lord.
I humbled myself fast. It was hilarious because I was like, I was putting on a couple extra. Fucking hell, man, I am too.
Yeah.
As soon as I looked at you, I was like, man, he's getting kind of big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta work out more.
Yeah, I in the term in the spirit of transparency, I got on the scale this morning at 256, and I'm like,
I think the only one of us is losing weight right now is Chris.
well, that's because he's sick.
No. Remember he talked about it not last week, but the week beforehand. That he lost like I think 30 pounds.
Right. Yeah. I mean, good for him, dude. Trust me. Out of the three of us, he needed to start something soon. But now I'm fixing to get it back up on that wagon and really, take charge of my weight, take charge of my health because I've been eating like shit. And so I kind of looked at it like today's my last, big hoorah kind of a deal. And
well, okay, here's the thing, because my brother-in-law, we go to the same gym, but we go different time frames.
Right.
And he's warning me right now on Facebook. You seriously gotta be friends with this guy on Facebook. He's like, quick question: is it a requirement for January for people to wear 25? I don't know where the 25 January of 25 Okay, 2025 to wear a weighted vest or plate carrier while at the gym. Where did all these people come from?
Tell them to give it a couple of weeks. They'll go home.
Yeah,
But
that's what everybody's telling them. And I told them this is like, if you you have to train like the guy from Generation Kill, gas mask, rifle, full backpack, and a full sprint, or you're a loser.
yeah, you're out there in mop level 4 trying to do a Murph. Yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, like you get people like me that 100% disabled with the VA, and they're looking at your Murph times that you're posting on Facebook. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And it's part of it is like, it's just the fact that I'm, to be legitimately honest, I'm hurt. And it's really hard to be as mobile as I need to be. Because at 47 years old, man, I got to work twice as hard as somebody a third of, half my age.
Yeah.
To lose that weight and keep it off.
That you have to our diet has to be different. I realize that right now is like you have to have at least 175 to 200 grams of protein just to gain any kind of, not even gain weight, just to live.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of different ways that you could approach it. Obviously, a lot of people really talk about caloric deficits, watching your macros and things like that. If you pay attention, guys like Scotty K on Facebook.
Yes. I was going to suggest.
Yeah.
You even make cookies
it's not that serious. He calls it garlic, and like now I'm calling it garlic because it's stuck in my head. But
well, Army people stick together, so
that is true. But dude, that is a glorious mustache.
It is.
It's just a glorious fucking mustache.
Because isn't he a fireman? So
he was a fireman. But he quit fireman, quit the fire department, and he's just a full-time social media guy now.
Well, he gets paid for it, and I don't know if he's good. That's the thing. A lot of people once they hit, and yes, if we hit as a group, I don't think we're quitting our jobs. We're not quitting our day jobs.
We're not, because I have a house to pay for. And
unless this podcast pops off and actually we start getting like,
if we're making Mr. Beast money, then sure, fine.
Dude, if we're making Mr. Beast money, you think you're ever gonna see
the whole pedophilia thing? But
that wasn't okay. On that note, it wasn't him.
I know.
I mean, I think it was one of those things is they had to know. But in hindsight, he's made
one hell of a comeback, though. That's for sure.
It's almost as bad as the Haktua girl.
Didn't she get arrested?
No,
because there was like some kind of report out there.
No. What she did was not illegal.
Yeah, well, there was something like the SEC arrested her for like financial fraud or something like that. And I'm like, because of the Haktua coin. But if not, she did or she didn't, which whatever, but I would hope that she didn't, yeah, there are people that lost their,
lost. That's it.
Yeah. There's people that lost their savings and stuff like that, but they made that choice. They did. They made that choice. Don't put that shit on somebody else because you made a shit decision with your family's money.
And here's the thing. I honestly don't think it was actually her. Just to do a pump and dump, you have to, I think someone like,
basically
told her like, hey, we're going to do this.
That's what happened with the GameStop stock.
Yeah.
I wish to God I'd have jumped in on that, but
dude, there was a second run on that shit.
Was there?
Dude, $2,000. That's how much I made.
Damn it.
And I thought I told you about that, and you just looked at me like
you didn't. You didn't tell me, because had you told me, I would have given it some very serious thought and more than likely would have pulled the trigger on it. buy low, sell high. I mean, it's
No,
it's
I
it,
did tell
it's
you. I told you. I told Kenny. I told a lot of people.
I was not one of those, sir. I would have remembered that conversation. I mean, I know I let a lot of what you say glaze over and just pass in one ear out the other, but I would have remembered that.
I probably put in sending you a video of it. That's my way of communicating. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, and you know what? I need to be more friendly. I need to be more friend conscious, and I need to start paying attention to those videos.
I've calmed down to the point where I only send you stuff that actually pertains.
Yes, so for that I do appreciate.
Contact to the
I mean,
podcast.
it's to the point where I can leave the ringer on my phone at night now.
Well, I don't work nights. That was the whole problem.
I know, but it's like I had to. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm laying in bed, I hear this ding, 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 and I'm like, oh my god! If I open my eyes and it says anything about David, I'm just going to scream. I crack my eye, and a screen sees me looking at the phone, so I'm like, it unlocks, and I see the notification, and I'm like, this motherfucker.
Why do you have your TikTok notifications on?
You know what? I don't know. Like, because my wife has a TikTok shop, so I see her post a new video, I have to repost it. Stuff like
No,
that.
I got that. And I mean, okay, here's the thing with the social medias. And yes, if any of y'all try to contact me, or basically you're contacting me. If you're contacting the show, you're contacting me. I have all the notifications off. I mean, Instagram's the only one I need to turn that back off, but I have all my notifications turned off. I don't know. I have no desire to be notified from a social media app that I know half the time it's just going to be junk.
Yeah, it's like so and so looked at your profile. So you go to look at their profile, and it's like
Yeah.
no videos yet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I
I'm
like,
getting
oh, I followed you. That's great.
like, I get emails. Most of the time it's the it's not the TikTok anymore. Every once in a while TikTok sends me an email, and your wife would probably hate me for introducing you to this, but it's the bikini news. It's hot women in bikinis.
Oh, I'm aware of the bikini news. Yeah, I'm also aware of the naked news.
Yeah, and I pay attention. I was like that baseball guru, and she does runs, and she's like double G.
Oh, you're talking about baseball chickie?
Yes.
Yeah, I know about her. Yeah.
That was the only reason why. Is like Dave knows a lot about baseball.
No,
The
he
reason.
doesn't.
Dave's learning.
That would be
Dave
like, I
learned
look at
something about
Playboy for
baseball.
their articles. Yeah, whatever. Shut up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
So fucking. Anyways, you know what, man? I think we need to go ahead and land this plane.
Yeah, we can land this plane right now. There's last thing on the Kuwait stuff. I did peer through, and they didn't offer the U.S. soldiers anything. They basically helped out the U.S. government for
I don't remember where I heard that.
it was offset. It was probably something XYZ came through, but it never came through. And one last thing is Mattress Mac is doing okay.
Yes, he is. He got out of the hospital after having a procedure done, then had to go back days later because they had to remove water from his heart. But then now he's back out. He's back to work. The day that guy actually dies is going to be
I think that city was shut down.
Yeah, I think the whole city is going to shut down. I think the whole area, like around Houston, greater Houston area, is going to shut down. That funeral procession is going to be massive.
Huge.
Massive.
Yes.
So I mean, I got to meet him a couple years ago at an Astros game.
Yeah, and you have the photo of him.
Yeah, I got the photo, and I get back to my seat, and I was like, "Look who I met," and I showed Minnie. She's like, "Shut up! No, that's not real." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." It's like, "No." That's a cutout. I'm like, no, I got my picture with him. She's like, she takes my phone, she shows her sister. They're like, shut up. No. I'm like, yeah. And he was a cool guy.
Yeah.
Cool guy back then. But yeah, and it's funny. He's like, come on down to Gallery Furniture, right there on I-45 North, and he's there
Why didn't you pick up your couch there?
because we didn't want to drive to North Houston.
Oh, you wouldn't want to drive to North Houston right now.
Hey, dude, it would have taken us an hour and a half just to get there.
Well,
And
not
then
even
when we get
that.
there, we see something that we don't like. We can't find anything we liked, let alone anything that we could have afforded. Kind of a deal. So, I mean, as it is, I spent.
I mean, think about it this way. You try. Okay, think about it this way. Okay, drive up there. You get the mat. You get the couch or anything, and if, so to speak, you get it on credit, and the Astros win next year, you don't have to pay for the fucking couch. I would take that chance.
With the free agent movement, or with the free agency market being what it is right now, I'm not holding my breath.
Oh, and that's another thing we need. We emphasized it a little bit, and we really haven't been talking that much. And I'm not going to be on that show on Monday too much. We need to talk about the portal.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the portal.
It was devastating this year. I saw how devastating it was to the major colleges.
Yeah, it's what happens when you pay college athletes, man. I mean, really, the NIL.
A lot of them wasn't even because of the pay.
Well,
it was because they just felt that they haven't been.
They get a better track, a better fast track to the NFL by going to a different program. I get it. I understand the purpose for the portal, but I think that the rules need to be amended a little bit. That if you're going to enter the portal, you need to finish playing the games with your team for that season. If your team is in the playoffs or your team is going to a bowl game,
that's what surprised me.
You're going to a bowl game.
That's what really surprised me.
Well, that was the reason why.
Changed. It really did. It changed the dynamic of.
Like Marshall was supposed to play Army in the Independence Bowl. Instead, they ended up playing Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech had a losing record going into that game. They were not bowl eligible. They just happened to be the next in line. When Marshall lost 25 players to the portal, they became bowl ineligible.
I thought it was more than that.
No, it was 20. It was initial reports is that it was the entire roster, but it was just 25 students.
Okay.
25 players entered the portal because they, their head coach took a job somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're not playing for anybody else. It's like,
I think you're right. You should have to, I think it should be like the beginning of the next year.
Well,
after the season.
The way that it used to work is that if you transferred to a different school, you had to sit out a year. And when the transfer portal became a thing, it was, well, look, I'm not getting to start. I'm not getting to play. I'm going to go to a different school so I can have a better shot at a starting job, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. But now it's like you've got players that are on their third and fourth school because they disagree with the coaches. And it's like, it's not the coaches. It's not a reflection of the coaching staffs at all. It's a reflection of the character of that particular young man or woman that entered that portal. Because apparently your conflict resolution skills, your soft skill set suck.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get at. Is these people are so young and they're still like growing as in the genetic biological sense, and you're still. You're like on peak hormones and everything, and it's still messing with your head until you're like, what 26?
Yeah, something like that. So I mean, it's
so you're not going to be making rational decisions.
No, I mean, I don't like the portal. Let me rephrase that. I like the portal. I like the idea of the portal. I just think that the portal needs to be regulated more heavily, and I think that there need to be better rules in place for the portal and its use. That's like Udway or Udo. He was a running back for Army. He didn't play in the Independence Bowl because he transferred through the transfer portal to Arizona State.
Okay.
And here's the thing, and here's what chaps my ass about the transfer portal and as it relates to service academies. Your tuition is free to those schools.
Yeah.
Okay, because you signed an agreement. You signed an agreement to serve your country as an officer upon graduation.
Okay, is that contract void?
I think either the school or the player have to pay for the tuition for the years that they're attending. So I think Udo was, I believe he was a sophomore or a junior. I can't remember. So the time that he was at West Point serving as a cadet, either he or the school that he transferred to have to pay for the tuition for that time.
And here's another thing that I just thought of. Like those service academies, they don't get paid. But are they part? Okay, are they part of the College Bowl game? Like the video games?
Yeah. No. I don't know. I think that they are. But
let me check on that.
But here's the thing. It's like with where was I going with this? You completely took me out of my element with that question. Damn it. Oh, that aggravates the piss out of me. I completely lost my train of thought. Ugh. Anyways,
and I'm focused on something else already, so I can't help you out.
I think that's our cue to land the plane for the night. So.
Yeah, but I want to know this.
I think the service academies are in that game. I just don't think that the likenesses of the players are there.
Yeah, EA Sports College Football 2025 for PlayStation 5 includes service academies.
Yeah, I just don't think that the players' likenesses are there.
Actually, they are.
Are they? Okay, well then maybe they are getting some kind of stipend from the NIL, but I don't know, man. I remember the days when it used to be the running joke that Shaq didn't get rich in the NBA. That's what he did when he was in college.
Yeah.
I miss those days. But
or all those car washes that he bought. Yeah,
right.
Have you heard that story?
I think I might have, but
I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
anyways, let's go ahead and let this play. I'm David Dickerman, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Johnny Skelton.
Thank you all for listening and watching. I guess the one person that's watching this weekend. Thank you for watching us. And
you're the real MVP. Just
thank you. Thank you. You.
I was talking to our one viewer.
I was thinking him. I was, if I could find him, I would give him a hug. All right, everybody. Thank you. Goodbye.
Later. Oh.